Hi everyone! Thanks for dropping by and checking out this speed build. Today I am building a tavern in the Sims form realm of magic. I finally picked this up, I picked it up yesterday when it was released. I'm so happy to be able to play this finally. I was really looking forward to it all summer long. Um, you know, witches, magic, a new world, new builds, all that fun stuff. It's always exciting when a new pack gets released. Anyway, like I said, I'm really happy to play this. I had decided to start building a community lot. It's pretty much a basic build. I just wanted to get started by getting familiar with all the tools and stuff, and I also wanted to challenge myself a little bit and create a base game and Realm of Magic only stuff build. So this build will only use Realm of Magic and base game. I know what you're looking at now. I've started off by using the foundation from Get Together, but I think I decided I was going to only use Realm of Magic stuff and the base game stuff probably a few minutes into the build. So it was a pretty easy decision to make, and you'll see that it wasn't actually very difficult. The stuff that we have lately from for the base game as well as for Realm of Magic actually gives you a really good looking build. So first of all, I just wanted to say about the pack. I've really been enjoying playing Realm of Magic. I've only had it for less than a day, but last night when I started it up, I made a sim, or I didn't make a sim, I just grabbed a sim that I had already. He was already inclined to be a magician or a sorcerer, and I started playing with him a bit. I brought him into the magic realm, I turned him into a spellcaster, and I played a little bit with the spells and flying around with the brooms and stuff. That was really fun. But I really had a good time with it, as much as I did play. And of course, I'm going to start building at some point. And I took him over to the Elixirs and Brews bar, and it wasn't a bad bar. I didn't hate it. Actually did remind me of a lot of the bars that you'll see around, in the rural areas, especially in, I don't know, Northern Ontario, Northeast American style buildings, that kind of thing. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but the bar seems very familiar. It wasn't awful. I didn't hate it. I just wanted a different style of bar. And I wanted to build a tavern, and there's a reason why I built a tavern. I'll tell you about that in a bit too. So yeah, like I said, this was just kind of like a way for me to play around with all the build features. And it was, I had a lot of fun with it. I'm gonna keep saying that, but it's true. I love all the Art Nouveau stuff. That was really neat to see. And I love like all kinds of like architectural decor styles and everything. Like I didn't even mind the modernism of the Moschino stuff pack too. But Art Nouveau is one of my favorite art styles, really, art and architecture styles. The fun fact about Art Nouveau itself, and I'm just going to go off the top of my head here, so I didn't do a lot of research on this, just from what I've known previously. I have a feeling that the style the Sims team chose was totally on purpose. This style of art and architecture, it was popular around I want to say the turn of the century or so, just past the Edwardian area, a little bit past the Victorian times. I'm not exactly sure when the time period was for that, but it came about as an answer to Victorian era's industrialism. It was everything was very, very industrial, and they wanted to bring it back to nature motifs, including like flowy lines, maybe natural materials, images of flowers, and classic fashion. Also around this time, they were coming around to spiritualism, and that's the idea that the paranormal could exist. I don't even know if they coined the term paranormal at the time, but the fact that they could communicate with ghosts and spirits. Seances, crystals, Ouija boards, they came up around this time, and whether you believe in the paranormal or not, there's no doubt that this period influenced art and culture for decades to come. With this build too, the Art Nouveau stuff was really inspiring, and it did drive a lot of this build, but I kind of also wanted to give it a little bit of a steampunk element. And steampunk is, again, an aesthetic inspired by Victorian industrial times too. And it does use, and I've seen a lot of Art Nouveau inspirations in a lot of steampunk art too. So it made sense for me to go that way. And again, it wasn't really difficult because with the Realm of Magic and all the base game stuff that we had combined, it's not too hard to come up with, like, a lot of steampunk with a steampunky look for a place here. And I especially wanted to show that off in the kitchen because, the kitchen is a perfect place to show off like a steampunk aesthetic. Here you can see I'm cluttering up the shelves. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm using that end table just to make sure that all the elements are lined up. It's a lot easier that way than just kind of like scaling everything up and just kind of making sure that the shelves line up right. And using the end table technique, everything lines up perfectly here. But creating this kitchen here, it did take a little bit of time, but it was really fun. I really like cluttering when I could pull it off. Some people are better at cluttering than I am, but like I said, it was fun. And I did want to bring out the steampunk vibe, and that includes the color scheme as well. I wanted to stick to these bronze tones with rich pops of velvet colors like blues and purples all throughout. I wanted everything to be a little bit more like not monochromatic, but just kind of subdued, because I know like a lot of the Sims and everything, they're already pretty colorful too, and the Sims are going to be the highlights, of course, when you walk into a place. Sometimes color works and everything, but in this sense, I think it's kind of good to be a little bit subdued. And another thing I really love doing is creating like a wall paintings and just cluttering it up that way. And I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of things that are already been included in the base game that just helps this entire place make sense. So it's good to have fun with it too. So I don't know, the idea here, of course, is just like Sims could come in and gather, and like any bar or tavern, locals could visit, tourists could come in, everybody could come in, meet, greet here. And I wanted to give people enough space so they could go in and just play around with spell casting too. I have fun with creating like smaller spaces, but sometimes you just need the extra bit of room to do stuff too. And it doesn't show much in this build, but there's like a fully functional backyard as well, for the back area too. It has a little sunflower garden and picnic tables where people could hang out in. But yeah, so that was neat. I go back and forth a lot and trying to decide what kind of elements I wanted to add to. So you'll probably see, like, the end result will probably be a little bit different than what I've added here, just because, well, that goes with anything. I don't really plan these builds, so I hope I could make it look good in the speed build sense. But for the most part, as long as the big elements are there, like the bathrooms and stuff. The bathrooms are really boring, but as long as the big elements are there, you could kind of work around that. And it's, once everything is in place, it's pretty easy to go in and just kind of play around with all the different wall coverings and maybe different decor, that kind of thing. But yeah. I don't know, there's not too much to say about this build, so I'm not sure how much longer I could talk too much about it. We're gonna go and visit the upstairs in a bit too, because that's kind of important. Oh, actually, yeah. So for this build, as I mentioned before, I wanted to build a community lot. I do actually play the game, like I said. It's one of my favorite things to do, to go out there and explore the world with my Sims. I have a main legacy game going on, and I don't necessarily want to move them to Glimmerbrook, but I'd love for them to visit. So when I take my Sims places, I like to imagine that they could stay for as long as they need to, even if it's overnight. So I want to give them a place to sleep, so that they're not crashing on a bench or in a bush or wherever. It just makes sense to build an inn or a tavern, right? I actually, like I said, I didn't hate the original Elixir and Brews bar, but I just wanted something that would make more sense in my head, at least for this setting. Um, but yeah, I wanted to create a place that looks like it has one of the historical plaques on it, and that could tell a story of the first settlers to Glimmerbrook. But essentially, I actually did want to create a building that looks like it would belong in a haunted house story. So yeah, I am building the second floor up here. The second floor has 2 rooms. One will be a proper bedroom, and the other I had a different idea. At first I thought I was going to create a second bedroom, but I don't really think we needed a second bedroom. So instead, I was going to make it into a kind of parlor where they could do fun stuff like host seances. I imagine that the proprietors of this bar has allowed a medium to come in and, you know, rent that room every so often so that they could host these seances, which, you know, people would pay like hundreds of dollars for to attend, or and, you know, even be like even for the chance to be able to communicate with their loved ones, with their deceased ancestors or whatnot. But yeah, so here's the bedroom, of course, and I noticed that that desk has that weird blue light. I'm not sure what that's about, but I'm not sure if I like it. It kind of throws me off, but it's there. I was committed to using a lot of Realm of Magic stuff, so it is in any case. But I do love that dresser. That dresser is really cool. Anyway, back to the seance idea. I wanted to build a parlor that people have been using to host seances or spirit sessions, that kind of things. If there was a Ouija board in the game, then I most definitely add that to this particular parlor. And I'm not sure if you know, anyone has watched like horror movies or spooky movies out there that involve these things, but I just really love that old atmosphere too, and just the idea that, like, you know, deep in the middle of the night that people are like holding hands and summoning the spirits, and that's what I wanted this room to be all about here, instead of it, like I said, instead of a proper bedroom. But yeah, this build itself was pretty simple. The challenge here was just cluttering up and making it look like an old-time tavern. It was more of a way just to explore all the fun build objects, and it was neat. As I started building it, it started telling its own story. Like, you know, the idea for the seance room, this parlor, came about as I was building it. You know, like I said, it was intended to be a bedroom, but it's fun how these things go when you're building. The stories for each of the builds sort of just come to you, they come to life. And, you know, that's the fun thing about it. And I hope it shows if you guys download it and play around with it. And if you do, let me know how it goes. I'd love to see it in your game, so you're always welcome to mention me. I am SimDaisies, or on Twitter I am BlackDaisies, so feel free to tag me if you use any of my builds. I am totally happy to check it out. It will be on the gallery, so you could download it from there. My ID is BellDaisies, and the tray files and the screenshots will also be on my site at sims.blackdaisies.com. All of those links will be in the description below, so please do check it out. And I will leave it at that. You could check out the rest of the build. Like I said, let me know how it goes, if you like it, if you have any suggestions, or other stuff that I could build for Glimmerbrook, or anything else really. I'm open to them. Doesn't mean I'll do it all, but, you know, sometimes an idea will come in and it might be fun to take a look at. But anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you have a splendid time. Enjoy Realm of Magic if you are playing, or if you're not playing, enjoy it anyway. Enjoy what I got here anyway. And yeah, subscribe if you like it if you like it, and let me know how it goes. Thanks so much. Have a good night or morning or wherever. Bye.